Hey folks, Roddy here. I want to tell you a story about an old drifter, a rambler, an old railroad hobo by the name of Long John Williams. Now, as I tell you the story, I'm going to sing some songs. A couple of them will be Long John telling his own story, and a couple of them will be my recollections of the old man, even though I only knew him for a very short while. Long John was a tall, lanky fellow, stood about 6'5", hence the name Long John. He grew up in a sleepy little railroad town in Southern California, southeast desert California to be exact. He lived on the wrong side of the tracks, where the poor folks were. And from an early age, he was bent on leaving. He had a bad case of wanderlust. So just as soon as he could, he hopped an eastbound train and zigzagged across this big, beautiful country of ours, all the way to the Carolinas. He was heading for the big city. Any big city would do, and he saw a lot of them. I'm just a dirty-faced kid in a sleepy little railroad town. Born on the wrong side of the track, everybody wanna beat me down, but I ain't gonna let 'em. No, 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 ain't gonna let 'em. Gonna hop a freight train out of town, gonna hit the big city. Well, my mama always told me, son, you gotta treat the people right. Live by the golden rule, honey. Everything gonna be just fine. But the people won't let me. No, 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 people won't let me. No, no. Train out of town, gonna hit the big city, gonna hit the big city. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Well, I finally reached the big city, and it's everything I thought it would be and more. Done been mugged 3 times already, stabbed in the back and kicked to the ground. People wanna kill me, but I ain't gonna let 'em. No, 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 ain't gonna let 'em, no, no. Gonna hop the freight train I rode in on, gonna leave the big city, gonna leave the big city. Don't know where I'm gonna go, somewhere everybody leaves me alone. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey. So, as you might expect, Long John had a few scrapes with the law, a few run-ins, and evidently some of it was pretty serious. He was on the run. He never would fess up to what it was, but he knew that if they ever caught up with him, he was going to be doing some serious prison time. So Long John soon realized that this hunk of life that he had bitten off was more than he could chew. He spent his days bumming around, his nights sleeping under bridges or local rescue missions if it was too cold to sleep outside, or if he didn't have a bottle of false peace to keep him warm. Sometimes he would just lay out in the field and look up into the night sky and count the shooting stars. But for the most part, Long John enjoyed his life. He knew that he was down and out, but he was down and out in God's country. Well, I'm selling my soul at the city rescue mission to buy a pair of shoes, and if I get enough, I'm gonna buy a coat to ward off these winter city blues. I'm down and out in God's country, haven't got a nickel to my name. Spent my last dollar on a bottle of false peace. Only wish I could afford the real thing. I listen to the cars go overhead underneath this bridge where I made my bed. Broken glass and ashes, old sweaters and mattresses. I'm down and out in God's country, haven't got a nickel to my name. Spent my last dollar on a bottle of false peace. Only wish I could afford the real thing. Yeah. Well, some bad morning I'm gonna fly away to my home up in the sky. Won't have to stand in no charity lines. All my hard times wiped away. No more down and out in God's country. Won't need a nickel to my name. Won't need a bottle of false peace, 'cause I will have the real thing, yeah, the real thing. Ooh, yeah. So at some point in time, Long John met up with and was befriended by an older, well-seasoned traveler who wore the moniker of Hobo Jack. I'll have to tell you his story some other time. Suffice it to say that Hobo Jack had a lot of traveling tucked up under his belt. He was quite the character, full of stories. He collected a lot of them during his travels. And some true, some not so true. But he got a kick out of trying to spook Long John about all of his terrifying tales from the hobo jungles. What Jack didn't realize was that Long John was on the lam. He was on the run. He'd seen his share of hard times too. John might have been young, but he'd lived a life that some folks twice his age would never see. So this is the story of Long John and Hobo Jack meeting up. Well, I hopped into a boxcar with my hobo friend named Jack. So hop on in, close your eyes, kid, 'cause you ain't gonna wanna come back. Once you get the feel of the steel rail in your bones, you come to realize the boxcar's now your home. That's what he said. That's what he said. Well, Jack first hopped a freight when he was a boy of 15 years. So he rode it over heck and half of Georgia, working for the money he could steal. Said he did his share of hard times for cities and small towns. Seemed that everywhere he went, somebody wanna beat him down. That's what he said. That's what he said. Well, he told me a story about a man got a rusty knife right through his throat, just for not sharing campfire beans that he cooked over. Oh, by golly, he shared them after that. In fact, he didn't taste one bean. You know the old saying, boy, dead men don't eat. That's what he said. That's what he said. You sure you wanna take this journey, boy? He said to me, thinking that his story might just change my mind, you see. But what hobo did not realize, had nowhere to go. Nowhere but prison, baby. Wasn't planning on going. What I said, that's what I said. See, I might not be as old as Jack, but I did my hard times too. Pretty soon them law dogs gonna be looking for you know who. Well, let's close the boxcar door, get this train on down the line. Let me have another swig of that cheer wine. That's what I said. Cheer wine, baby, that's what I said. That's what I said, baby, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said, baby, that's what I said. All right, Hobo Jack. So in the course of time, Long John wearied of Hobo Jack and all of his ways and all of his stories. He had a tendency to ramble, Hobo Jack did. And Long John felt like it was time for him to ramble on solo. So they parted ways. And he wound up doing some hard time, Long John did. They finally caught up with him. And he did some really hard time in Tennessee State Penitentiary. He spent years behind bars, dreaming of freedom. So, with the slow passing of time, Long John spent many hours reminiscing about travel, trains, towns, girls, and God, even about the time that he met Jesus at the Union Gospel Mission. He'd come a long way from that sleepy little railroad town in Southern California. So, fast forward a number of years, and his release date comes around. Long John's an old man now. A lot of years have passed by. His youth has passed him by, documented by the hash marks he'd scratched on the walls of his prison cell. He felt like he had one more bit of traveling left in him, one more journey, and he would catch out one last time. Thomas Wolfe once said, "You can't go home again," but Long John was going to give it a try. Now, I met Long John after he'd gotten out of prison. I was just a schoolboy. I loved hobo folklore, and I enjoyed investigating hobo jungles, and that's where I ran into Long John. And he began to tell me his life story, and I soaked it up like a sponge, like a newspaper reporter who'd stumbled onto a wonderful biography, a memoir, if you will. So he talked and I listened, and it was wonderful. But it started getting dark, and it was around supper time, and I knew I had to get home. So I told him I really appreciated him telling me his story, and he thanked me for listening. So he heard that train whistle blow in the darkness of the night. He smiled a wondering grin as he held his bindle tight, knowing that tomorrow, right before the break of dawn, he'd be catching out and heading west. Where was he going? His California home. Well, he heard that train whistle blow in the darkness of the night. Smiled a wondering grin as he held his bindle tight, knowing that tomorrow, right before the break of dawn, he'd be catching out and headed west to his California home. California home, Lord, California home. His mind's grown tired of traveling, and his body's growing old, making memories of what he's got left from here to Arizona. He's headed for his California home. Well, he lived in Carolina, did hard time in Tennessee, spent a little while in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida. Traveled across the country on the back of that iron horse. Now he's changed his course, he's headed for his California home. California home, Lord, California home. His mind's grown tired of traveling, and his body's growing old, making memories of what he's got left from here to Arizona. He's headed for his California home. California home, Lord, California home. His mind's grown tired of traveling, and his body's growing old, making memories of what he's got left from here to Arizona. He's headed for his California home. He got a sister out in Brawley, an old friend in Tehachapi. He'll flip a coin to figure out which place he wants to be. But for now he grabs his bag and heads over to the track. He's on the last leg of his journey, and he can't wait to get back to his California home, Lord, California home. His mind's growing tired of traveling, and his body's growing old, making memories of what he's got left from here to Arizona. He's headed for his California home. California home. Well, they found Long John on the railroad tracks last Sunday morning. Said he must have fell asleep and didn't hear the warning. The engineer tried to stop the train, but it didn't have much track. Long John met his maker, he ain't ever coming back. So long, Long John, so long. had holes in his sneakers and his soul was wearing thin, running from the preachers who said his heart was black with sin. But John knew Jesus loved him. He'd met him as a kid, and deep inside his heart is where he kept his Savior hid. So long, Long John, so long. Long John Williams, he was an old bindle stiff. He spent his days a-rambling, and he liked the life he lived. Ate his meals at the mission, hallelujah, and passed the bread. His eulogy should read, this hobo lives even though he's dead. So long, Long John, so long. Well, they buried him on Friday in the old potter's field. Couldn't find a next of kin, so his fate was sealed. I laid out of school and went down to the grave, and on that wooden marker with my knife I engraved. So long, Long John, so long. So with this last song, some might say that the story of Long John Williams has come to an end. But he lives on in the minds and the memories of everyone whose path he crossed, including mine. So long, Long John, so long.